And what we're going to do is start to look at the division and look at the positional depth in the division. And Cakes, you've been dubbed the guy who's going to lead the show.
This is true. And these are going to be the way I look at these units. I'm going to rank them myself. I'm not going to lift it from CBSSports.com or ESPN.com. So we'll start off with the defensive line. And for argument's sake, we're going to include outside linebackers and edge rushers as part of your defensive line combos. And we're only going to do the NFC East. We're focusing in on the Commanders and their division rivals. All right, so with 3 of the 4 NFC East teams, Washington, Dallas, and the Giants, ranking the bottom 5 of total yards allowed in the 2025 NFL season, these front offices had lots of retooling to do to improve their defenses this offseason. So I'm going to do these rankings starting from 4, working your way up to the number 1 team in the division. We'll start off with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys scored 27.7 points per game on offense last year, but their defense allowed a league-worst 30.1 points per game. Major changes were needed for this defense. We saw them trade for Quinnen Williams from the New York Jets. That happened in November of last season. Kenny Clark is another vet along that defensive line in Dallas that was acquired in the Micah Parsons deal. Rashawn Gary is a big piece that comes in. He was acquired from Green Bay for a 4th-round pick. He's had 15 sacks over the last 2 seasons, but he's never reached 10 in his career in a single season.
You have the Cowboys D-line ranked 4th?
I have them 4th.
Wow.
Out of 4 in the NFC East.
All right.
Now, the Cowboys also added Malachi Lawrence with their 2nd first-round pick in the 2026 draft. The UCF pass rusher racked up 20 sacks in 3 seasons during his collegiate career. So Dallas has made a real push to improve their defense, but I need to see how it all fits together against their division opponents to rank them any higher than 4th at this point as we head towards training camp.
Did you mention Quinnen Williams?
I mentioned Quinnen Williams. He was added in a trade in November of 2025. A few years ago, I think he had 11.5 or 12 sacks. Hasn't come close to that number, but he is a force on that interior defensive
what Dallas
line.
did, Dallas did a lot like what Washington did, right? Mm-hmm. They saw their defense sucked, and they made a bunch of additions.
Sure, they realized.
But on paper, you still have them dead last.
I still have them 4th at this point.
Okay.
Right now, I have Washington ranked 3rd.
A lot of unknowns.
I really like the offseason ad of Odafe Oweh. They gave him $68 million guaranteed. He's got to become the superstar of this group. He's got to be the guy that has double-digit sacks on a yearly basis to make that investment worthwhile.
Now, remember, in Baltimore last season, 0 sacks.
Right.
Now, he didn't play a ton of games before he moved.
Yep.
But
then he took off.
That's a little troublesome.
But then he took off.
Yeah, and then he goes to the Chargers and
contract year, you got to turn it up.
Yeah, speaking of contract years, could we see another one of those stat-wise for Daron Payne, who's in the final year of his deal? Go back to 2022, he racked up 11.5 sacks in that campaign, got a massive deal after that. Add in the return of Dorrance Armstrong and Dietrich Wise, and the under-the-radar signing of Charles Omenihu from Kansas City to bring some depth to this unit that should be able to disrupt opposing passers more in 26 than they did in 25. I think the big question mark here is, can Javon Kinlaw and Johnny Newton be big contributors? We saw what Johnny Newton did Christmas Day, 3-sack performance. Are you going to see more of that in 2026?
I hope. We need more. We need more from Kinlaw.
I like the depth here. I like the offseason ads, but it's not going to get them higher, in my opinion, than the 3rd-ranked unit.
No, it shouldn't.
In the division.
And, you know, we're going to be talking about this throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of unknown with those guys. They made ads, much like the Cowboys, right? You make ads, and on paper it looks good. But when you say double-digit sacks, that's not something that always proven to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's what you hope, and he's a young guy, and he has the skills where he can do that, but he has yet to do it.
Right. I mean, you would love to see
and
that.
And then with Payne...
They're going to pay him like that sort of talent.
I feel a lot of fans are out on Daron Payne because he has been kind of up and down in his career. I would say he really had one standout year.
And it's not
and that, of course, was his contract year.
It's obviously not a sign of faith from the front office that he's going into the final year of his deal, and he hasn't been extended here in Washington. So I think they're hoping and banking on him having a big season in a contract year, and then they'll deal with that after the season. So I have Washington as your third-ranked unit. I have the Giants at number 2.
Mm-hmm. They're loaded.
The loss of Dexter Lawrence is going to hurt this unit, but there's a stockpile of talent here, especially on the edges in year one for John Harbaugh in New York. Arvell Reese comes in as the highly touted rookie out of Ohio State. Abdul Carter is in year 2, but Brian Burns is the undisputed stud here. He had 16 and a half sacks last season. I think the big question mark for the Giants is going to be the reworked front 3, but if Carter can go from 4 sacks to a guy who gives you 8 to 10 in year 2, this defensive unit is going to be tough to deal with on a weekly basis.
Well, because they've drafted guys in the first round really high that, at least on paper, supposed to produce. Like all the guys they've drafted, you would say, yeah, they should be double-digit sack guys.
Yeah. And one of those guys that you're mentioning is, without naming, is Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yep.
Still on the roster, but he's entering the last year of his rookie deal. Doesn't seem to be in the team's long-term plans, but he seems like a guy who can basically give you 6 to 8 sacks. I know he's flirted with double digits before. I don't think he's hit that number, but he could give you 6 to 8 sacks on the way out. Doesn't seem like he's going to sign long-term with the Giants. So that brings us to the top-ranked unit in the NFC East.
So it's still Philly.
Opinion, you guys are welcome to disagree with me if you wish. I have Philadelphia. I mean, it's hard for me to knock them off the perch when they were the actually one good defensive unit in the entire division last year.
They might also arguably have the best player in Jalen Carter.
Yeah, Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, they form a nasty 2/3 of their defensive front, and they're young. They're 26 and 25 years old, respectively. So those guys are a handful in the middle for the Philadelphia Eagles. They bring in Arnold Ebiketie on a 1-year deal from Atlanta. They also trade for Jonathan, is it Grenard or Greenard? I don't know which. It might be Grenard. He was added to the mix via trade to help deal with the loss of Jalen Phillips, who departed. So Grenard had 24 and a half sacks in the 23 and 24 seasons. He dipped down to 3 last year. I know Philly is counting on a bounce back. I'm sure they want him back to double-digit sacks. So I have it Washington at 3rd, Dallas at the bottom. I have the Giants as the number 2 defensive line unit. And I can't knock Philly off of its spot at this point until I see otherwise, until I see a big step back from them heading into the season.
I think your top 2 are correct. I think the bottom 2 is up for grabs.
They could flip-flop.
It's up for grabs.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to come down to which personnel department did better in acquiring new talent and drafting new talent.
Also,
right?
Which ones have new defensive coordinators? So we do. So I think that's a little bit of a question mark. You can see how it all fits in together. Is Denard Wilson the defensive coordinator for the Giants? Is he new?
I believe he is. It might be his first year. It makes sense because Harbaugh's coming in, so you're probably going to bring in a new defensive coordinator when you bring in your staff.
Right. And
his first season, he served as DC for the Titans from 24 to 25.
So, I mean, you never know when you have a new staff how it's all going to play out. I don't know. Something to think about. In fact, I'm actually super excited for what Durante is going to bring to our defense. I think that, steal some of those themes of moving guys around, disguising stuff. I think that could be big for this defense.
Look, the defensive line has been a liability. It's been easy to run on them. They addressed it. The question is, will these guys produce? Yeah. I think Cakes has talked about it a lot, and maybe when you were talking about it earlier, Owe is kind of one of your favorite additions in the offseason. He's got to be a stud.
Yeah, he has to deliver. He has to be a guy who's living in the opponent's backfield. I mean, there's a reason you gave the guy $68 million. And the reason he was, a guy that was attractive to a lot of teams in free agency this offseason. He's a disruptor. This team just needs more of that.
He's actually not my favorite. I mean, he's the big money guy. He's maybe the poster boy for it. But, overall, defensively, I'm more excited than I am the line. I'm more excited about the linebacking core. Mm-hmm. More excited about Leo Chenal and what he can do, and obviously the rookie that has all the ability in the world, and see how he translates in that Sonny style.
Take a deep breath, EB. We're going to do the linebackers another day.
I'm just saying, as far as the defensive line goes, it's kind of like ho-hum.
What's your confidence level, though, that the defensive line would be better? We can open it up to callers, 1-800-636-1067. Cakes went through it. He's got the Commanders at number 3. All right? The big ads, he went through it. Owe, to me, is the big one as an edge guy. I think you're right. Johnny Newton's got to step up, right? There's no more it's getting a little different. If you want to get a little younger, there's no more Jonathan Allen here to be alongside Deron Payne. You still got Deron Payne, but Johnny Newton was drafted in the second round. He's got to step up. He's had a couple big games, right? Where I think he had the bulk of his sacks in one game last season.
He had 3 on Christmas Day.
Right. So he's shown that he has the ability. So when you put all of these guys together, what is your confidence level that this unit is going to be better? I would say I'm moderately optimistic.
I think they're going to be better.
That it's going to be better.
For sure they're going to be better. You haven't even mentioned. I mean, Cakes mentioned it, but we didn't really talk about it. I really thought Dietrich Wise added something in the limited play before he got hurt. He got hurt like in the first game or two.
Yeah. And Dorrance Armstrong.
And Dorrance
he was
Armstrong
on a
coming back
ridiculous
healthy.
sack pace before he got injured.
And I'm not
so
sure
if he can get back close to that level, that's an under talked about piece that could contribute.
And I think they're excited about adding Tim Settle, bringing him back,
bringing in some defensive line depth, which you always need.
I actually think, from a talent perspective, if they're all healthy, it's a huge upgrade over
But do you think that the line is good?
I think it'll be solid.
Really good?
I think it'll be solid.
Average?
I think it'll be solid, but it'll be should be a market upgrade over last year's banged up unit.
To me, it still sounds a little average at best.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not.
But Owe, I think, could change it. Like, that's the one, like, if he can get 12, 13 sacks, then all of a sudden it's like, okay.
Yeah, then he makes sense.
Because I think the interior of the line with Kinlaw, Payne, Newton is pretty solid.
Right.
It's the edge where you worry about it. But you're right. Dorrance Armstrong was putting up numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I think Wise does great things like setting the edge, that sort of thing. Should really help in the run game.
Yeah, he may not be like a gaudy sack guy, but he's going to be like a glue guy that helps keep everybody together as long as he can stay healthy.
As long as it's not an albatross to the team.
Yeah.
I don't think
the defense had a lot of problems last year, so hopefully, they've upgraded all the areas, but especially
at every level.
Yep.
Let's go to Greg. Greg, what's up?
Good morning, Junkies. I believe it depends on the rotation. Like, the personnel rotation will probably be a bit totally different than what they did last year. I don't know how they rotated them last year. I know they got new faces in the interior, but I believe it depends on the rotation, who's ready to go at the time when they need to make plays. I think that's going to be the key point, the rotation of the defensive line.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it. Well, they got a lot of guys to rotate in and out. I mean, between Settle, Johnny Newton, Deron Payne, Kinlaw, etc. I mean, they got some guys. They got some guys. Did you add in, Wise, Owe, Armstrong?
They're bodies, but are any of them good?
I think those guys are pretty good. I think most of those guys are pretty good.
When we had Jeremy Fowler on the show yesterday, and he kind of had to go through the top of his head, but as they rank all the units, the 11 units that they rank of top 10 players at their position, the Commanders only have one guy in all 11 units, and that's Laramie Tunsil.
Mm-hmm. No,
so they have no top 10 talent anywhere.
That's fine. I think from top to bottom, I think the depth is fairly solid. I don't think it's like top heavy where you have like a superstar and then I don't know. I think it's
but
pretty
they have
solid.
potential. I don't know if they have the potential of the Giants. Like when you look at the Giants' defensive line on paper, and just by draft position and names, you would think that they could be the best in the division.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue.
But I think the loss of Dexter Lawrence will impact them at least initially, because I don't know if that front three is loaded with any sort of guy you would call a superstar. Now their edge players are outstanding. Their pass rush personnel is really good, and it's just a question: how are they going to work in Arvell Reese? What is his role going to be being added to that defense?
I don't know. I just think overall defensively, I know we're going to go through each unit. I think overall defensively, it's going to be a market upgrade from like one of the worst defenses you've ever seen to something that can keep you competitive and keep you in games. And maybe, God forbid, maybe create a few turnovers.
That would be
Cakes.
fantastic. Turnovers would be great.
Yeah. Get a few sacks, create a few turnovers.
Were they a minus 13 turnover differential at the end of the year? They were somewhere around there. I can double check it, but they were terrible in turnover differential. And that's an important stat.
1-800-636-1067 is the number. Coming up next, a lot of people are down on Lamar Jackson. How low is he ranked amongst some of the national media? We'll tackle that next here in the Junkies.